I had a question from someone in the community. So, how do I manage my time? What does my workflow look like on a day-to-day basis? So, just gonna talk about a couple of things that I do pretty much every week to kind of stay on track, whether it's with production, YouTube videos, any type of content that I have to create for the channel or Instagram. This is your first time at my channel. I like to talk all things music production, whether that's music marketing, pro audio, or audio engineering, and also the latest and greatest, whether that's plugins, software, whatever that looks like. If all of that interests you, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Pretty much post videos every week. It is November, so it is the holiday season, and right now I'm kind of just planning ahead. I don't know how many videos I'm going to post for the rest of the year, given that it's the holiday, but once January hits, you're going to start seeing me again week to week. Got some different things going on, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's get into it. The question that we got was actually asked from someone within the community that follows this channel, and really asked me how I stay organized on a day-to-day basis. Well, he asked, how do I stay organized and how do I stay consistent on a day-to-day basis? We're gonna get into how I stay organized, whether that's creating instrumentals, uploading the BeatStars, as well as creating content for YouTube. Because those three things, also being an artist, and then just life away from this, whether you work a 9-to-5 job, I work a 40-hour-a-week job aside from this. So I'm gonna kind of show you how I maximize my time, and then, aside from that, just gonna really get into establishing yourself a routine. Just like a lot of you, as I said earlier, I work about 40 hours a week. I do have a day job. This is just something that I do along with that. I like to create content for YouTube as well as make beats. A lot of you see that. That's probably why you follow this channel. So one of the things with me personally is I'm not a person that sticks to, okay, I gotta do this at 10 o'clock. I gotta do this at 10:30. I gotta do that at 11:30. So on and so on. Now, I don't really get into a schedule in that sense. However, I do kind of think ahead. What I always think about is, as I said, working 40 hours a week, I'm always thinking about maybe my schedule personally as far as my work schedule and how I'm gonna work around that. Now, one of the things about me personally is I prefer to make content earlier in the day, whether that's in the morning before I go to work, depending on what time I go to work. Sometimes I actually like to create at night as well. If I get off a little earlier, maybe around 6 or 7, it gives me some time in the evening to get some work in as well. Now, with my workflow, personally, I use an iPad Pro as kind of like my mobile go-to device, which with my iPad Pro, not only it allows me to make beats, but also I edit my video content inside of LumaFusion. Now, some of you may have that iPad workflow as well. And if you don't have LumaFusion, you do have iMovie. So don't sleep on iMovie as far as a good video editing app to create content for like your YouTube or your IGTV. Now, the benefit of LumaFusion, to me, LumaFusion is kind of the closest thing to what you would find as far as like almost like Final Cut on the iPad, even though iMovie is also created by Apple as well. Now, the reason I say that LumaFusion is going to be a little closer to Final Cut is because of the editing features. You have a lot more control as far as different types of titles, different types of effects. You don't have that much freedom inside of iMovie as you would inside of LumaFusion. If you're ever interested in checking out LumaFusion, I believe it goes for $25 in the App Store. I've been using it for about, I want to say close to 3 years now, and I would almost say I edit more so on there than I do in Final Cut on the Mac that you see behind me, partially because that Mac is a 2013 model, and even though it allows me to get some things done, it's not very efficient at doing so. My iPad is leaps and bounds faster than this iMac behind me. Aside from that, with my video content, some of you that's been following the channel for quite some time may notice that you may see like a beat making video from me one day during the week. You might see me upload an instrumental one day during the week. Then you might see me upload a video similar to how this video is. Maybe we're just sharing ideas or telling you about the way I do something similar to like my workflow, for example. Aside from that, music production apps like Beatmaker 3, Chord Gadget, GarageBand is another one. If you haven't seen my video on the 5 beat making music production apps that I use to create instrumentals on iPad, I'm gonna leave that link below, so go ahead and check that out. But if you ever wanted to get into iPad music production, you definitely want to check out this video. Days of just strictly having to have a laptop or a MacBook Pro aren't your only option anymore. iPad is definitely something that you can create instrumentals with. You can edit video on. You can basically use the iPad as a creative hub for anything that you might have, whether that's also photography, if you want to edit your photos on your iPad. So definitely don't sleep on the iPad as an option. Nothing wrong, again, with having a MacBook Pro or a laptop. In fact, I'm getting back into the MacBook Pro very soon, so stay tuned for that. You just want some way of being mobile, being able to work mobile. Now, if you have iPhone, a lot of the same things that I was just talking about will also be available for iPhone, with the exception of Beatmaker 3. They don't make Beatmaker 3 for the iPhone, but you can find Chord Gadget, you can find Cubases, and of course you can find GarageBand if you were looking to create instrumentals on the go and you don't have an iPad. So don't sleep on your iPhone as well for that. Aside from that, one of the things you have to also do, this may be harder for the younger crowd than it is the older crowd. I'm not trying to knock you guys or anything up like that. What I mean by that is you got to start looking at yourself as a legitimate business. With that being said, if you're in a music production or if you're an artist, it's a little bit different than having a 9-to-5 or going to school where you gotta be told, okay, you have to do A, B, and C today, and then tomorrow you gotta do X, Y, and Z. As a music producer, as an artist, you have to know yourself that, okay, if I have free time here, this is what I gotta get done. Meaning, like, if I'm thinking about on a full day's time, even if I have to go to work, I always take my iPad with me, and during my breaks, I tend to either finish off beats, I might start something new, or I may also work on some video content for YouTube. That way, it's no wasted moment. And when I'm off, that frees me up to do other things, whether it's create more instrumentals, do some mixing, do some arranging, networking, and whatever that looks like. It allows me to be able to utilize my free time for whatever I want. The other side to that is, with that being said, you got to kind of watch some of the things maybe that are counterproductive. So maybe you might be hanging out with your friends for, it's cool to hang out with people, but also, if it's not getting you anywhere, you gotta put in more work. You gotta be a little bit more dedicated to your craft. And I can remember back when I kind of first started creating music, one of the things that was happening was I was going out too much, and I was spending money in places that I shouldn't have spent money at. At bars, buying alcohol, buying new fits just to go out, buying new shoes just to go out. Just all sorts of things that really didn't have much to do with me creating music and getting somewhere in my career. And it wasn't really for a while until I kind of figured that out. It's okay to do things like hang with your people. It's okay to do things aside from that, like, hey, some of you might be gamers. I play games as well, but I kind of limit that to maybe about hour, maybe 2 hours at most during the day. Other than that, at the minimum, I'm putting that time into creating music or uploading beats to my BeatStars website. And then also, one of the other things that you guys don't sleep on, especially if you're a YouTube creator just like me, is utilizing the scheduling function. So what I like to do is go into my YouTube, upload my videos. I don't know really how much time I'm gonna have to create content over the next couple of weeks. Just spending time and taking a little bit of a break for the holiday, but I'm kind of thinking ahead. So what I've done is I actually like to upload videos at least a week to 2 weeks in advance. That way, if anything comes up between now and then, I can still continue to keep going and always have content fresh and ready to go. With the content that I create, as I said a little bit earlier, if you follow this channel for quite some time, it has to do with a beat making video, usually a topic based video, and it can be an instrumental itself. And I kind of plan those out ahead. It's kind of helped me stay in that routine over and over again. One of the things that you can do also, as far as something that can help you increase your productivity as a music producer or artist, is your organization of your files on your computer or your iPad. So reason I say that is, I like to use my example of when I'm at work or when I want to go and I only have a little bit of time to make beats. It could also be here, maybe in the morning, I might want to make beats before I go to work. I know all of my folders and files are organized a certain way, so that way, whether it's I want to go to a certain sound, I want to go to a certain loop pack, I know where to find it at real quick. That can help you productivity a lot of times, whether it's using BeatMaker or even Chord Gadget. It allows me to get something going. I can get a good beat going in about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll finish it maybe when I have more time later on down the line. But you'll be surprised really how file organization can help your workflow as a creator. And not just for that, same thing with videos. Like I may shoot a video for the YouTube channel, then I may upload the files directly to my iCloud drive because I have a editing folder for all of my videos. That way, no matter whether I'm here in the lab or whether I'm on the go, I can look in my iCloud drive, grab those files, save it directly to my iPad Pro, and get to editing, and then of course upload it wherever I am as well. You may ask, okay, well, what if you don't have Wi-Fi? I do use my phone as a hotspot sometimes, so I can get internet that way, and I can just upload files. Or worst case scenario, if I'm not in Wi-Fi at the moment, within a couple of hours I'll probably be in Wi-Fi in some instance, so I'm never too worried about that, just as long as I have the content done and ready to go when it's time for me to upload it. Aside from that, I would really just say find whatever works for you. Just know that you're gonna always invest time into things that mean the most to you. If you enjoy creating music, if you really want this to be something that is a career for you going forward, then you should probably want to invest a lot of your time into that. A lot of other things are still cool, not saying it isn't. I like to hang out with friends, I like to play games, of course I like to watch sports, I always have time for that, but I also have time to create as well. Find whatever works for you and just create. Don't put pressure on yourself as far as having to do things at a certain time. I hope these things really created some ideas for you personally. I just wanted to kind of tell you about my personal workflow as far as the way that I get things done on the go. If you have any more questions, feel free, reach out to me on Instagram at d._majormusic, and I'll hit you with a follow back. And then also subscribe to this channel. Again, I like to post videos on a week-to-week basis, so definitely check that out. If there's anything that you'd like to see on this channel as far as production topics, feel free to leave it in the comments. And until next time, I'm out.